What's good, YouTube? YouTube. Why you make me have to do this? Why? I try to be the nice guy. I try to make myself so easy to love. So, if you guys don't know what I'm talking about, a few weeks ago I did a live stream about short squeezes, and in that I spoke about AMC. Boy, did I hurt some people's feelings. Boy, did some people get emotional. And I tried to be nice about it. I tried to be, pussyfoot around it and be nice. But today, you know, what I've realized is that, when I tell people the truth,
You can't handle the truth.
woo. So today is no more Mr. Nice Guy.
So say good night to the bad guy.
We're going in today, YouTube. So today we're going to finally put an end to this discussion as to whether or not there is a short squeeze happening, and whether or not you're going to, make money from this short squeeze. All right. So let's get the party started. The first thing we're going to do is start with the definition of a short squeeze, right? What is the short squeeze definition? And I always like to go to our trusty friend, which is Investopedia, as it's a nice neutral source and a nice basis to get, good definitions of things. All right. So here on your screen, you can see, Investopedia and an article called Short Squeeze. The first paragraph says, what is a short squeeze? And the first thing we've got to address is it says a short squeeze is an unusual condition, right? Why do I highlight that it's an unusual condition? The reason why I say that is because, it's not a regular everyday occurrence. People, talk about short squeezes as if they can just short squeeze anytime. No, it's a specific setup that has to happen in order for people to create short squeezes, right? And the setup that happens is, something that is unbeknownst to those who are shorting this asset, right? If everybody knew that short squeeze was coming up, then they wouldn't short the stock because they would get caught out, right? So it's an unusual condition. I've also heard people say, well, the stock is low, so I'm just going to short squeeze it. That's not how short squeezing works. It's a very rare occurrence when one of these things come around. All right. So we're going to move along later on to the paragraph, and it says the short squeeze begins when the price jumps higher, right? What is it? The important part when price jumps higher.
You keep taking me higher and higher.
Right. So we've established that price needs to jump higher in order for there to be a short squeeze, right? Okay, let's move on to our next article. Our next article is also on Investopedia, and the article is called It's called How to Trade a Short Squeeze. Again, it's Investopedia. You can go through and read these articles in detail yourself. It says how to trade a short squeeze and it speaks about understanding short squeeze. And it gives you an example of a short squeeze and it talks about different scenarios, right? But we're going to highlight this area here. It says, but what if there were many short sellers who want to buy back shares before they lose even more money as the stock rises?
You keep taking me higher and higher.
Remember, they lose money even more money when the stock rises. So in order for the short sellers to lose money, the stock has to rise higher.
You keep taking me higher and higher.
Right. So we're going to go to our next paragraph. The paragraph says this is where the short squeezer comes in and buys the stock, while the panic-stricken short sellers are causing a further rise in price due to short-term demand. A short squeezer must not only learn to predict and identify short squeezes, but this is the key part, but also pick the right time to sell the stock, which is at or near its peak. Remember. So, if you pick the short squeeze at when it's at, or you pick to sell the short squeeze when it's at or near its peak,
Money coming.
that's when you cash in. Remember, it's key. So remember, the stock has to rise up high.
You keep taking me higher and higher.
And then you're supposed to cash in when it's near or at its peak.
Money coming.
Okay, we got this. Let's go to our next article. We're going to break it down slow today, family, so we're going to have some understanding. So the next article we're going to look at is, again, from Investopedia. This is talking about the 6 of the most shocking stock increases and falls, right? So this is just a general article talking about shocking increases in stock price, right? What is number 1 on its list? The winner is Volkswagen. And Volkswagen, if you know your history, is one of the biggest short squeezes of all time. Remember, this is one of the biggest short squeezes of all time, and it's made Investopedia's number 1 list of all shocking, increases in history, right? Okay, this is all we need from this article. Remember, it's the number 1 and the biggest of all time, or at least one of them, right? Okay, let's go to our next page. This one, remember, it's the biggest of all time. And this article was called "How Long Did the VW Short Squeeze Last in 2008?" And it says, have you heard of the VW short squeeze of 2008? It lasted 4 days. 4 days. The largest one in history lasted 4 days. Now remember, the AMC short squeeze was back in 2001. That was last year. People are still in it, thinking that they're in a short squeeze. The largest one in history lasted 4 days and fell 58% from its high. Excuse me. So when it fell 58% from its high is when it was over after those 4 days. Okay, so we're clear. Let's go to our next page. So this next article that we're going to look at goes into more detail about the short squeeze. So this article is by International Banker, and it's called "The Volkswagen Short Squeeze of 2008." Right? If we scroll down, it goes into a lot of detail, but here's the part that we want to see. It says, after VW share price peaked on the 28th, its stock plunged by 58%. Remember, we saw this 58% before, in just 4 days. Again, the 4 days as the short squeeze loosened. So it's telling you the short squeeze stopped squeezing, it loosened after 4 days when the stock price fell. So remember, short squeeze needs the price to go up.
You keep taking me higher and higher.
You need to exit, at or just before its peak.
Money coming.
And then it falls. In this case, it fell after 4 days and the short squeeze loosened and then loosened to some degree. And then a month later, it was down by 70% from its peak. So we're clear. Okay, so let's go and take a look at this VW chart in history so that we can learn from it to know when a short squeeze is and when it is not. Okay. So here we're looking at the Volkswagen, chart on TradingView. This is the daily time frame, ticker symbol Volkswagen AGST. And we can clearly see on the chart when the short squeeze was, because we can see the peak on the chart. But not only that, we had our article that told us when it exactly was. They said on the 28th. So if we hover our mouse over this bar here, the big one, you can see at the bottom highlighted in black borders, the 28th of October 2008. So this is the day of the short squeeze. Now remember, it said it lasted 4 days. So let's highlight those 4 days. Oh God. So this is day 1, 2, 3, and 4. So this is 4 days. Make sure I've got that correct. 28, 29, 30, and 31st. So this 31st candle here is the 4 days, right? What do you notice about these 4 days? You can notice that after these 4 days, price does what? It falls, right? Before there was no short squeeze, price was low. At the short squeeze, price went up. When the short squeeze was finished, what do you notice? Price went down, right? So remember, short squeezes, we need prices to go up.
You keep taking me higher and higher.
Somewhere at or near the top, you exit to make the most money.
Money coming.
And then after the 4 days, it fell down, it left. So we're very clear on the chart by the setup. This area here is before the short squeeze. This area here is after the short squeeze. And if you notice about price, if we draw a line in here, notice that the price before and after the short squeeze fell to similar levels. We're at a certain level, peaked, came back down to a level. So this is again confirmation that the short squeeze is over. It's returned back to normal prices beforehand. All right, so let's take a look at the AMC chart for clarity and make comparisons to what we've just been seeing. All right. So let's zoom out. If we zoom out on this chart, it's very clear as to when the AMC short squeeze took place, right? A similar story, we can see the peak, right? So if we kind of look at the chart, we can see that the peak of the short squeeze took place here on the 2nd of June, 2021, and then price fell. If you want to be nice, you want to be generous, you can say that, it lasted, maybe this little period here. Even though it fell, it had a, somewhat high level. So we can say that, the greatest short squeeze of all time lasted 4 days. We're going to be generous here with this one. We're going to say that this one lasted 1, 2, let me count this 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. Let's say 30. I'm not going to go through and count every day. But let's just say this area here where price was up before again it fell was when the short squeeze happened. So remember, in order for us to have a short squeeze, price is at normal levels. If we draw in normal levels, this is our levels pre-short squeeze. Pre-short squeeze, there is no short squeeze. Then price rises up for the short squeeze.
You keep taking me higher and higher.
Those who were in the short squeeze were smart and exited the trade near or at the top.
Money coming.
And then after the short period of time, price fell. So remember, in order for there to be a price, for there to be a short squeeze, price needs to be going higher or at least be at a high level. But what do we notice about the AMC price? Is the price going up? Are we seeing increased prices? Is it keep taking you higher and higher? No, it's not. The price is
Down, 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 down.
very clearly down. And not only is it down, we can see that price is actually at levels which is pre short squeeze. We saw this historically in the Volkswagen one, that it was at the similar prices before and afterwards. And we can see with AMC that price is at similar level to before the short squeeze. So those of you that are in the short squeeze right now, expecting to get money off the short squeeze, I have news for you. The short squeeze is over. It's been over. The short squeeze is like 1 year old at best. It lasted 30 days at best, right? So people keep talking about a short squeeze as if it still exists. There is no short squeeze, people, in AMC. The short squeeze is finished and it is over. In order for there to be a short squeeze, you need high prices so that people lose money in order to exit their positions, right? And at the moment, the price of the short squeeze AMC stock is not high. That's the first thing. So the second thing I've heard people say, you know, yeah, it appears like that it's low, but it's not really, the value of the stock is XYZ, right? So this is the next thing we're gonna address. There are people that are saying that AMC's value is worth XYZ. So for our example, we're gonna say, let's say for instance, AMC stock is worth $1,000. I've heard crazy wild speculation as to how much it's truly worth, right? So think about this. If it is worth XYZ price, it was going to say $1,000, right? The basis of any sort of investment or making money is what? Buy low and sell high. So if the price of AMC, as we can see here on TradingView, is worth $11.48, as he says here, and you can buy it for, or you can sell it for $1,000, why wouldn't you just buy it for $11 and sell it for $1,000, right? I've heard people saying, well, we're going to wait till the price gets to 100,000 before we're selling. Why are you waiting for it to get to $100,000 if you could just keep buying and selling it at $11 and selling it at $1,000? If you bought an AMC share for $11 and sold it at $1,000, you can then buy another 87 87 shares for that price. Why don't you keep doing that until you get to a desired total? Right? It doesn't make any sense, right? People keep saying, "Oh, its true value is being suppressed." If you go to the shadow realm, somebody is selling it there for a different price. All of these fanciful ideas that people have about what the actual price is, you know. Um, what is the people say the value is. Let's go back to our slide again. People keep saying the value of AMC is XYZ. So how do you define value? What is value? All right, let's go to our friend at Investopedia again, right? If we look at our Investopedia article, this one is called value definition, right? Or it's called value. And here it says, we don't even need to go far into the article. It says, what is value? It says value is the monetary, material, or assessed worth of an asset, good or service, right? Worth of an asset, good or service. So let's read this again. Value is the monetary worth of an asset, good or service, right? So it's whatever it's worth in money. And we can see here on TradingView that we just looked at. Let's go back. We can look here at our TradingView screen. It's showing us right on our chart. Let's get rid of our line. That it's worth $11.48, right? So I'm giving you proof of $11.48. People saying it's worth XYZ $1,000. Can you prove that it's worth $1,000? Put it in the comments and show me proof that it's worth other than $11.48, right? I'm going to prove it to you again that it's worth this price, right? Let's go here. Let's show another screen. We're going to go to, a well-known reputable site called eToro, right? And if you look at eToro, eToro is a reputable site where anybody can go and buy stocks, and they are telling you how much $11.48 it's worth, right? So if TradingView are saying it's worth $11.48, eToro is saying it's worth $11.48. Not only are they telling you it's worth that, you can actually buy it for $11.48, and we know that the value of something is its monetary value, then I'm sorry to tell you that AMC is worth $11.48. I don't know where people are getting other figures or other values for this, asset from, but if you believe it's worth something other than that, then put it in the comments as to where you get this valuation from and how you believe it's worth that, right? People are saying that the price is suppressed and whatnot, but if the price is suppressed and it's worth, let's just say it's worth $1,000, right? And you can buy it for $11.48, that means somebody would have to be, put in the rest of the money to make it up to the rest of their $1,000, right? Even if that is the case, right, then it's still worth $11 because you can buy it for that, right? That's how much the market can get it for, and somebody else is just giving away free money. It's basically what they're saying. They're giving away free money in order to give it to you, right? So, and then this brings me to my final point as to, Why I always believe in technical analysis over fundamental analysis, because fundamental analysis is old news, right? When we talk about fundamental analysis is based on news, noise, and opinions. You hear the news from somewhere, you make an interpretation of it, and then you trade it into the market. The issue is with fundamental analysis is people get the news at different times, right? And to you, the news might be new, but to everybody else, the news is not new. It's old news. It's not news anymore. It's olds, if that's a word, right? It's olds, right? And you can see if we look at the AMC chart, we can see the delay of people getting this news. I spoke about this in my last live stream about people getting news late, right? And if we look here at AMC, we can see where the spike was. We zoom in, we clear. We can see where the spike in price. This is the people that got the AMC news early, right? The people that got the AMC news early and got in good, they got in. The best people got in around here, you know. Other people got in somewhere in the middle and then exited at or near its top, right?
Money coming.
This is when the short squeeze existed. The short squeeze finished at best here. And then everything after that, the short squeeze was no longer active. But you can see from these spikes tell you when people got the news late. They got the news late here and spiked up the price. They got the news late here, spiked up the price again. And then the real latecomers to the party got in here again. And this was probably some kind of hype. Somebody told you that the short squeeze was having a resurgence. But again, remember we spoke earlier that it's an unusual occurrence. It's not something that just keeps happening on a particular stock. It happens once in a blue moon to random different stocks. There's no investors that's going to be stupid enough to jump back into this as a short squeeze at this point, right? Everybody's too aware of the short squeeze and people have got the eye on it. It's like setting a mouse trap and the mouse has already just got freed from the trap. Why would it then go back to the trap knowing that you're ready to set the trap off on it again? It doesn't make sense, right? So we can see that this is where people get the news late. And this is why I always recommend technical analysis over fundamental analysis. Fundamental analysis based on news, noise, and opinions. And everybody has an opinion as to what it's worth, and because so and so said, and this person said, and that person said, right? But how can you prove that? It's just hearsay, it's emotion. Because somebody said it emotionally, that you believe it, right? Here's the thing with technical analysis. Technical analysis, you can show people on the chart. It's identifiable, verifiable fact. And if you're going to invest your money, you need to invest your money on identifiable, verifiable fact and not hearsay, belief, news, noise, and opinions, right? I get it. Everybody wants to be making money in the markets, and people think that AMC is a good opportunity to do so. I've got news for you. It's not, right? So, if you are looking for ways to find good stocks to invest in, then go and check out my live stream that talks about how to find good stocks to invest in, and you can see it coming up on the screen here. And if you disagree with anything I say, then put it in the comments. Let's have the discussion. I'll be replying to comments in the comment section. If you believe that what I've said is not true, then put it in the comments. But don't just say it's not true because nuh-uh. Give me some sources and give me some evidence of it. All right. And with that, I see you in the comments.